Hey friends, happy hump day. I'm hopping in here on Wealth Wednesday a little early because I have a lab review for a client and I don't want to miss. I've sort of been hit or miss over the last couple of weeks, just traveling, busy. My practice is getting busier. And so I have these lives set at times where, used to work, but I might have to rethink them. So anyway, I'm just happy to hop in here today to talk to you about something that I am getting ready to go full bore on, and that is hair tissue mineral analysis. I know I've been dropping some hints and saying a few things about that, and I've been getting some questions, so I wanted to hop in here and talk more about what it is and what it isn't and why I'm excited about it. So how does this relate to Wealth Wednesday? Well, I think that when you have data that is valuable to what you're trying to do for your health. And I think that when you have that data based on yourself, that is even more helpful information. So a lot of times what I see people doing is they're looking on social media and they're seeing that this influencer or that guru or this person is saying this is what you should do. And they're trying it, maybe throwing a lot of money at it, a lot of time, a lot of effort, and not getting the results that they want. And what I would like for you to know is that what someone is recommending may have worked for them and it may have worked for other people. But when you can base whatever you're doing on data about yourself, then that makes it even more valuable. So I always say test, don't guess. The supplement that is perfect for your best friend Betty is not necessarily going to be the thing that's best for you. Not only that, but there is a very distinct sequence about how you need to, if you're going to add supplements, how you do that. Just adding a probiotic in right as you start doing, taking care of your gut is not the right time to do that. You're not going to get results from it. Could a probiotic be right for you? Yes. Could that probiotic give you results? Yes. But until you slow down the inflammation, build a foundation in the gut, whatever you're doing is not going to work. It's not going to you can't just throw it in there in a toxic environment and have it to do the right thing. So I just wanted to sort of give you that baseline information. But this hair tissue mineral analysis. So getting certified in that, learning all about that. And I wanted to share about minerals just as like basic information for you. So, minerals are on a lot of the labs that we get every year, those screening labs that we get from our doctors. And, it's things like sodium, potassium, phosphorus, calcium, sometimes magnesium. On my core health panel, we get zinc. But here's the issue with that. Those things that we consider electrolytes are actually minerals, and they're only transported in the blood for a short period of time. They're normally stored elsewhere in the body, like calcium and magnesium are stored in the bones and in the teeth, and some magnesium is actually stored inside of the mitochondria, those little powerhouses of the cell. So the red blood cells and the plasma cells in the blood don't have mitochondria. So that isn't a place, like if you're looking for magnesium, that isn't necessarily a place to get your best level of magnesium. The other thing is that those minerals, also known as electrolytes, and there's other ones like copper, molybdenum, that's a hard one to say, cobalt, boron, those are all minerals. They are transported in the blood for just a short period of time, but they're stored elsewhere in the body. So if we really want to know what our levels are in the body, checking the blood is not the best place to do that. That's just a snapshot in time, and that's not where they're most concentrated. So that's the first thing that I want you to understand about hair tissue mineral analysis. And then the second thing is that the blood is homeostatic. So what does that mean? It means that the blood, because the blood goes to the brain, that it really tries to keep this very narrow range of those minerals and everything else, right? Blood sugar, all of that in the blood, because it comes into contact with the brain cells. And so we don't want it to be toxic to the brain cells. So at the detriment of other things, the blood will pull minerals. If it's low in minerals in the blood, it will pull it from those other storage places, like where those minerals do their action. And if it's high in the blood, it will push it into other tissues. So for example, calcium can get pushed into blood vessels when it is too high in the blood. And so that can cause hardening of the arteries. That's not something that we want, right? Or it can actually push it into ligaments and that sort of thing. And that's where we get those ligaments that aren't as flexible as what they have been in the past. So two things is that blood is not the best place to see your mineral values. And the second one is that your blood tries to maintain its homeostasis by pulling minerals from where they should be and putting them other places where they shouldn't be. So where should minerals be? That's a really good question. And like I said, calcium, vitamin D, magnesium, phosphorus, those are things that are going to be in the teeth, in the blood, some in the muscles. Magnesium is going to be on the inside of the mitochondria. So there's different places for where we should find these minerals. Something else is that we have to consider is that these minerals are oftentimes, they have a charge to them. That's why they're called electrolytes, right? They carry a charge, either a positive charge or a negative charge. And many times they will go together. So, two positive charges are going to repel each other. A positive charge and a negative charge are going to cling to each other. So just some science information for you. And we have two ways of looking at minerals in the body. Number one is that we look at what is your calcium level? Like what is your calcium level in the body? We can look at it in the blood, and then we can look at total body stores, like how much calcium do you have? And that gives us some information, but the biggest amount of information that we get is how does that calcium relate to other minerals? Like how does our calcium and our magnesium relate to each other? How does our calcium and our phosphorus relate to each other? Because it's that ratio that really tells you how active calcium is going to be in the body, and like what are some of the things that calcium is going to be doing. And without making this too long, I'll come back and we'll have other live videos, and I'll be explaining a little bit more as I roll out this lab offering for people. But so we have an absolute value of whatever the mineral is in the body, and then we have its relative value as it relates to other minerals, because that really tells you what are some of the symptoms that you might have going on in the body if you're low or if you're high. So I got my hair tissue mineral analysis done, and I feel pretty good. I have good energy. I don't sleep the best. Part of that is that my brain's always going, or that I'm deliberately staying awake and trying to get some things done. When you're building a business, the work is never done. So I thought I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good. But when I got my hair tissue mineral analysis, one of the things, it shows stress, it shows your metabolism, it shows energy production, it shows, what else does it show? It shows detox pathways, it shows whether you have heavy metals in your body. And I already know that like my detox pathways are not the strongest, which is why I have to do a lot of things in order to help them, detox what I have going on in my body, what everybody has going on in their body. And so I got my hair tissue mineral analysis results back, and what it showed is that my stress is off the charts. Like, it is off the charts. And even though I supplement magnesium, that my magnesium is still low, so I'm not supplementing quite enough. And magnesium is one of those things that gets chewed up with stress. So it makes sense that even though I'm supplementing, my magnesium stores are really, really low. But it showed me a couple of other things, like my zinc level is good, which zinc is one of those things that helps with immunity. It also helps to fortify those like the Velcro that holds your gut cells together, requires zinc. And so my gut cells are, being held together well because of the zinc levels that I have going on. But it also showed that I don't have high mercury levels, which was surprising to me because I eat a lot of fish. And, I try to get the highest quality fish, but you never know. And so I was relieved to know that my mercury levels are fine, but that my arsenic levels are high. And you can get arsenic from things like rice. That's one of the main places that you get it. But you can also get it from tap water. And so now I am actually on the, and I don't eat rice. So I don't really eat many of the foods where you find arsenic. So I'm assuming that it's coming from my water. So knowing that my body doesn't detox well, I am now going to buy a water filtration system so that I can filter out that arsenic, because I don't want arsenic in my body. And the other thing that happens, this is just bonus information, is that when you do have heavy metals or toxins in your body sequesters them in your fat as a way of getting them away from your organs to try to protect you. And so the other thing that happens is that when you're trying to burn, we only burn two fuels in our cells, and that's either glucose or fat. Your body will cut down on how much fat it's liberating for you to burn in your cells if you have a lot of toxins in your fat, because it's trying to protect you. It's trying to keep that fat away from you so that it doesn't have that toxic potential for you. So your fat burning actually goes down if you have these toxic levels. So all of that to say, just wanted to give you a glimpse in how powerful this is. I still love my core health panel. It gives information that, you're not getting in those routine labs that you're getting every 6 months or every year at your doctor's. Number one. Number two, you're probably not getting those explained because those labs are being reviewed at quote unquote normal levels, which is a wide normal range, that is looking for disease, not dysfunction. So I'm looking at labs within a normal range for optimal levels so that I can show you, hey, you're treading towards maybe having some insulin resistance, or you're treading towards maybe being at risk for high blood pressure. You're treading towards potentially having a higher risk for cardiovascular disease based on what I'm seeing. So it also gives us a gauge that when we follow up and we look at them again, that, hey, what you're doing is working. That's more data. So that's my message for today, is that instead of starting one thing and stopping without giving it enough time to actually have an effect in your body, without knowing that what you're doing is working because you're following the example of what your best friend is doing, you don't know whether that's going to work for you. You need data for yourself. And that data really helps to streamline exactly what you're doing, so that you're not wasting time, money, energy, effort, all of that, or confidence in what you're doing, so that you're not wasting that and you're actually getting the results that you're putting all of that time, money, effort, all of that into. So I'll be back. You'll be hearing a little bit more about this hair tissue mineral analysis. I'm just sending out my first labs, but it's really interesting information. And the cool thing is that I have the ability to recommend supplements for you to correct any abnormalities or ratios that are off or anything like that. I can actually make it specific for you. So we don't, we can put it all in a capsule for you. We can put it in some powder that you can make into a drink. But very specific. So if your calcium is okay, but your magnesium is low, we can add extra magnesium in there so that it fits what your hair tissue mineral analysis is saying. And I love that. I love looking at the data, making it very personalized to you as much as I possibly can. So be on the lookout for that, and just know that your body is good at giving you data, whether it's in the form of labs and letting you know what your minerals are, or whether it's symptoms. You know, your body speaks to you all the time. I think that many times we're just multitasking, or we're so busy, or we've really kind of tuned out those messages that our body is giving us. So tune back into your body, because it knows how to heal itself, and it's giving you information. You just need to know how to interpret that information and to be sure that you're paying attention to what it's saying to you. All right, everybody, have a great Wednesday. I'll talk to you soon.